Emeraldaly, take it away.
Ready? I'm Emeraldaly. This is Mulaka. Let's just get straight into it. You'll notice profile 1, 2, 3. I'm doing the run on profile 2. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that towards the end of the run. But time starts as soon as I click start here. So if you're ready on the timer, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So Mulaka is I guess you would call it an action platformer from Mexican developers Lienzo. It celebrates the culture and heritage and, bit of a spoiler alert, I guess, the creation myth of the Tarahumara people, the indigenous people of northern Mexico. First skip of the game is right there. We enter the Ring of Stones and otherwise forced fight, pull up the map and warp to the level we're already in, and we spawn past it. Just that easy. It doesn't actually despawn the fight. You could, if you were so inclined, go backwards into it, but who would do that? Another little skip right there. Just saves a couple of seconds to avoid opening that door. Now we're headed up this hill. You see that gate with the 3 stone hollows carved into it. You're supposed to find, I call them gate stones. The game doesn't actually call them anything to fit into those hollows to dispel that gate. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go around. Just that easy. Almost every level has one of those stone gates in it. We won't go through any of them the intended way, and a couple of them we won't even see. We're already on our way to the first boss. As I mentioned, this game celebrates the culture and traditions of the Tarahumara people. Everything about the game is meant to be authentic to the people of northern Mexico and their traditions and stories and what places and people are called, even what the levels look like, are all based on places in northern Mexico. It's the music, it's all very authentic. I'm not too proud to say that on my first playthrough, I kind of ran around a little bit wondering what to do in this boss fight, but it's a boss with a big shell on his back and you got an arena with pillars in it. You lead him into the pillars. And there is also an NPC that tells you how to fight this boss. I never found it on my first playthrough. But yeah, it shows up several times throughout the game. Little dude with that parrot on his shoulder is chronicling the beasts of the land. And as I said, I kind of gave away the ending, but the story of this game starts out with, like, it sounds so basic. It sounds like the most basic story imaginable. You are this great hero charged with stamping out the evil that has overtaken the land, you know? Sounds like nothing at all special. But it gets there. After this pillar, the shell on the boss's back is dispelled. We will add him a little bit more until our special meter is cracked. And the boss is defeated. And since we never pause during the level, we can just pull up the map and go straight to the next one. I don't know why it works this way, but if you ever pause during the level, you have to wait for the boss's death animation, wait for the map to come up on its own, wait for the level dot to spawn in on its own. It's so slow. And why would you ever pause anyway, of course, but extra incentive not to. Little skip there, jump off of that tree, gets you out of that area. This is the grand city of Pakime. We are headed to, didn't quite get the fancy pathing, but that's alright. We are headed to, not a secret area, but the area that the game expects you to find that's a little hidden, I guess is the way to put it. We craft the bomb potion here, if I can ever pick one of the chia plants. There we go. Another little skip here. This one's a little picky. Found this one by total accident when I forgot one time which button picks the plants, and I got it much quicker practicing just a minute ago. I should be able to clip through this wall. Give it a minute. There we go. That probably would have been a reset in a PV attempt, but it's okay. See, there's our next stone gate. And once again, we are not bothering with the stones. This also went better in practice just a few minutes ago. this would definitely be a reset in a PB attempt. Wow. There. That is not as hard as I just made it look. Here's a glitch. I found bomb duping. You pull up the bomb potion. That is the right input on your D-pad, indicated by the HUD in the lower left corner of the screen. Pick the bomb potion. Pick any other potion. Best if you use one you have 0 of or have never discovered. And by going back to the bomb potion after that, you can throw one bomb as many times as you want. It's quite okay to lose one soul in this fight. You get a free heal potion the first soul you lose. That is actually what the HP is called, is souls. It's not me trying to be trendy. Should be just about done. Yep. And then we have a moment while the demigod statue spawns in that I can pick some additional plants. I like to make a safety bomb just in case I do mess up a dupe. I like to have 3 and 2. There's the demigod statue. Once it says game saved, we can pull up the map and warp to the next level. It's even slower in this case if you pause during the level, because not only is, well, I guess there's no boss death animation since that happens in cutscene 2, but there is the demigod cutscene, and you have to have that spawn in, and it's skippable, but it's faster to not have it spawn in at all. And it's just super slow. Just if you run this game, don't ever pause. It's that simple. Another skip coming up here by this cave. When I've never been entirely consistent in it. Fly. Oh, by the way, we can fly now. That is, there we go. Just click through there. That is kind of the, I guess, gameplay progression here is we are scouring the land, gathering the powers of the demigods. We now have the power of the ivory-billed woodpecker. There's a skip there. That alone is a pretty significant skip, but it's about to get a lot simpler. One of the reasons I love running this game is even people who have never seen it before, you can tell this is not how you're supposed to go through the level. Now you're scouring the land, getting the power of the demigods to help, the animal demigods to help fight the great evil that has overtaken the world. This is one of the levels. This level does have a stone gate, but we don't see it. It's below our feet roughly now. Spot up on this little bit of geometry here where we can fall back in bounds. There's also Easter eggs up here. The developers actually did intend for players to come up here. It's just not the ordinary progression. By duping a bomb at this thing, it sends it immediately into its aggro state. If you attack it with your staff, it sort of starts to wake up and then goes back to sleep, and then you have to attack it again. Yeah, this boss is really weak, but if it ever does grab you while you are in human form, it does a full soul of damage. But as long as you make it back to the top of the arena, you're fine. Have to take out these mouths. I got a triple. Very nice. And I believe the intended thing to do here is to... Did I miss those first 3? Oh, shoot. Okay, this is a minor complication. I threw too many bombs down. I should have been able to remain at the top of the arena the whole time. I should not have had to climb all the way up again, and I'm very close to dead, so I would ordinarily never heal in this fight. But I have to make sure I don't die. Alright, now that we're back on top... Well, I'm many times do you want me to throw my spear at that one mouth, game? Okay. Yeah, this is about as badly as this fight can go, but that's alright. Yeah, technically you can throw bombs at the lower mouths on phase 2 of the fight, but you run the risk of triggering what I did when... You run the risk of triggering what I did that makes you go back down to the bottom of the arena. And it's just not what you want to do. It's very slow, and the boss is a lot more dangerous in phase 2 when climbing. I was about to say, I think the intended way of fighting it is to go all the way back down and climb all the way back up. And I'm super glad I popped that heal, because I would have died if I didn't. As you can see, I only have one soul left in the top right corner. I'm going to take just a little extra time and get to the point where I would prefer to be here, which is Form 3, Bear Demigod. Almost didn't get that warp in time. Oh, I quit out. Wow, okay. I have absolutely no idea where this is going to spawn me. This is going to be fun. Okay, Bear Demigod. Alright. I had no idea I did that. That's alright. We're off to our next level. Stone Gate is actually right by where you spawn, which makes this level... This level is the longest one in a casual playthrough. It is the shortest one in a speedrun, because here's the boss arena. Yeah, this level is full of, like, intricate puzzles where you hit buttons to change wind directions and fly around as the bird to reach various places, and you just don't do any of that in the run. This is Froggo. He does various attacks. Stomp is definitely a good one. Sucking in the water is a good one. Shake is not a good one. We do not want him to shake it off like Taylor Swift. All that does is waste it. Consequently, this fight is where most of my run attempts end, because it's the most RNG-heavy boss. He can just shake, 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 shake. I think my personal record is 12 consecutive shakes, and there's nothing you can do about it. All it does is waste time. Later in the fight, it does also add ads to the arena. Jumping is okay. He usually sucks in water after the jump, and sucking in water is ultimately what we want him to do, and it's what he's about to do. Hopefully this isn't too far away. Yeah. Shoot the fish skeleton into his mouth, it stuns him. We do a light combo, heavy combo, and a dupe bomb on his exposed tongue, and that is the fight. You just do that 5 times, so there's really nothing else to say. If the host has anything to jump in about, this would be a perfect time.
Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, I would like to remind you lovelies of the fact that you are actually watching a marathon that is being presented by the team at Fast Pace Events. Founded in January 2022, their mission is to promote mental health and LGBTQ+ awareness through speedrunning and to raise money for mental health and LGBTQ+ charities by beating games at a fast pace. You can find more info about the team by checking out their Twitter account over at twitter.com/fastpacedevents.
This is a group I've been aware of for some time, but this is the first time I've actually been in one of the events, so it's very nice to be here. Very nice to be selected.
Well, we're also very happy to have you here. Always lovely to see some new faces here at the fast-paced events.
Oh, metaphorically speaking, of course. I believe this is the 4th cycle, so there'll be one more after this one. Yep, one more. This has actually been really good RNG. There have been almost no shakes.
Always happy to have good RNG in a run.
Yeah, there have been no shakes. There have been no gray frogs. The gray frogs can swallow you. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it wastes time. And I never lost a soul. Yeah, I would take that fight in a PB attempt 10 times out of 10. I made one tiny little mistake, but it didn't cost me a soul, which would have in turn cost a cycle. Okay. Those red lines on objects and enemies indicate that the bear transformation can knock them down. Tiny little D-Boost going through the mushroom dude. We don't need the rage potion. We're just headed straight for the mini routes. Pretty clean lines through here. Another Ring of Stones fight here. If you run to the left of it, you can skip it. If you try to run to the right, you will not skip it. You will be forced into it. This guy may look familiar. Now that we have bombs and the ability to throw them infinitely, this fight is... I don't want to use any unkind metaphors, so I'll just say extremely easy. That's all there is to it. You just spam bombs in his face. This is the Puma Demigod. It says game saved. We warp back to the area we're already in. This will put us at the save point. Previously, we thought we had to take this save point to spawn there, but you don't. There we go. Flip through an invis wall there with the Puma transformation. You can see off in the distance there, that is one of the developers. Adolfo Rico, known from the Discord. Do the Puma transformation just before hitting the ground. That resets how far the game thinks you fell from, so you don't get the high fall stagger animation. Saves maybe a second each time. But it's one of those little things that add up and, help a good run turn into a great run. The red one definitely has the most HP because I was wailing on... That was another really good fight. I was wailing on him with bombs before the fight started. And still he was the last one, before the other two joined the fight, I should say. Still he was the last one standing. We're making some serious progress here. This is... there was that one warp that kind of goofed up where I quit out of the game, but other than that, this is going really well. A quick out of bounds there to get past the gate. This save point we do have to take in order to spawn here later. Sometimes I like to joke and say, oh, I'm done, I'll finish later. I'll just save the game. Another case of resetting fall height to avoid the stagger animation. Welcome to the one and only Ring of Stones fight that we actually do. Because there's a demigod after it. Wow. Not recall those little frogs being so tanky. Next phase is little scorpions. The bear doesn't do quite as much damage as the Puma, but it has a wider hitbox. So amongst a bunch of little things that don't have a lot of HP, or even things that have moderate HP, I suppose, the bear is favorable. Now, the red frog can also swallow you, so get out of the way. Okay. I'm taking a few hits, but it's not that big a deal. This is not a game I would ever try to do a no-hit run. This flying mantis is a jerk. There are a lot more of them in a casual playthrough. Fortunately, that's the only one we have to deal with in the run. So he gets the finisher because he's a jerk. He does this attack, if you don't interrupt it, where he will, fire off an orb and swoop down and hit you while you're immobilized, and it just takes forever and a day. Whoa. The big fire frog dies in 2 bombs, 2 pumas, or a bomb and a puma. Obviously, one of each is going to be the fastest. This is the sea snake demigod. Save. Load the map. Warp to the level we're already in. You can see we respawn at the save point. And we're about to have a seriously silly... I'm not typically someone who says, how did they find that? But how did anyone ever find this? Just you wait and see.
I have to say, it is quite fascinating to me as well how some people are just incredibly skilled when it comes to finding glitches, tricks, or just anything that helps us improve a speedrun.
And then at this point, we're on collision. Not quite done here. We have a little bit of running to do. Yeah, like 80% of the out-of-bounds areas in this game have collision. There's another one of the developers. Oh, no, that's Adolfo. The other guy. Yeah, the other guy, his name is Daniel. Remember that now? And there's our boss arena that you would ordinarily reach in a very different method than this. Alright. This guy has an AI loop. You want to stay by his right back leg and not take damage. If you do that, the fight should always be the same. Knock him over, heavy combo against his head, and a bomb. 333 should be his health. You just stay by this back right leg. You don't take any damage, and he'll only do favorable attacks. See, that's a favorable attack. It leaves him vulnerable. He really didn't target us at all. 1, 2, 3. And a bomb. Should be at 160. Yep. We shouldn't do that. Yeah, there we go. That little explosion attack he does, all it does is waste time. 1, 2, 3. Yep, there's your 3 cycle. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah, there's the NPC I was talking about earlier with the parrot on his shoulder. Okay. Sea snake is meant to cross bodies of water, but it can also vertically climb geometry. I don't think it's supposed to. Alright, this is definitely the hardest skip in the game. Easy every time. Flip through the invisible. Do it that way to avoid the stagger animation. Climb as the snake again. Who knew that snakes were such good climbers? Get back a little bit of mana. Don't need all of it. Same here. Don't need all of mana. Just some. Yeah, this level is very long, casually. There's tons of force fights, there's lots of flying around, wind puzzles, and in the speedrun, there's the boss! That might still be too high. Small mistake there. So this guy is not fought in a straight-up manner. He has glowing weak points throughout his body. They always light up in the same order. You can do 2 bombs, 3 tosses with your staff, or lots and lots of just hits with your staff. You see, 2 bombs is going to be the fastest bet. And if you're really lucky and or really good at aim, see these 2 weak points on his back right leg that are so close together, if you bomb directly in between them, it can actually count as the second hit for one and the first hit for the other. One bomb can count as both. I've only managed to pull that off a couple of times, just enough to know it's possible. And I hope runs never get to the point, certainly mine will never get to the point, but I hope nobody's ever gets to the point where, you know, that 2 seconds or whatever it is necessary to save. Okay, you want to be lifting your legs like a jerk. That is a little bit atypical. That's just mean. Now, the name of the game at this point is to remain on the boss's back. He will try to butt you off. That's the best way to make sure you land back on the boss's back, is to just go into bird morph when you're shot up into the air like this. I have hit this weak point on his head about 7 times. There we go. Finally. I do switch to staff tosses there because the bombs get increasingly hard to aim when the boss starts to get this squirrely. And it's not a whole lot slower. This is the last one. Use the finisher on it. Yeah, that was not a bad fight at all. Then we're off to the underworld for the confrontation with the great evil Taragori. You may see off in the distance there are 5 little shapes organized in a circle there. Those indicate waves of a boss rush that the game is supposed to end with. Remember when I said I'd tell you why we were doing the run on Profile 2? That's because before I came on stream, I cleared the boss rush on Profile 1, which makes the game think that it's cleared on every profile until you restart the game. That hitbox extends further than the walkway. That's a tough skip right there. I don't think I've ever gotten that one in a PvE attempt. You can land on top of those rocks and just jump right here. I've gotten it in marathons before, but I've never gotten it in a PvE attempt. But yeah, the boss rush is cleared, so we don't have to do the boss rush. And actually, I had to clear it twice before going on stream because my game crashed shortly after I did it the first time, and I kind of mild panic raced to the Discord to report that. Here's the final boss category. It's pretty straightforward. Just go clockwise with the swipies. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This will expose his weak points. Throw your spear at it. And do the Puma transformation. This boss, like a couple of others in the game, there's set limits on how much damage you can do per cycle. And nothing will do as much damage as one Puma transformation. Not even Duke bombs. 1, 2, 3. It's only this simple for the first 2 cycles. It does get a lot more... Whoops. It does get a lot more involved after the first 2 cycles. Yeah, not even a finisher will do as much as the Puma transformation. The boss is summoning fireballs from the sky, which become ads when they hit the ground, which I think is just rude. Still want to try to go clockwise with the swipies, but it is a lot harder after the first 2 cycles. Now I'm going counterclockwise, which is not exactly right, and I tried to switch back, and I got hit, which kind of changes the boss's AI a little bit. But I've never perfected this fight. I've never... Not too bad. In a PB attempt, I would only ever heal during this fight, and I would have typically 4 or 5 heals with me, because I do get hit a lot. There's one instance where I would even take damage intentionally, and we'll see if that comes to pass. Probably will. Now, see, I'm kind of getting the tar beat out of me, so let's pop off. Yeah, this is actually it. the barf. If you run into the barf, it does a moderate amount of damage, but then the barf is completely gone afterwards, so you don't have to wait out the the barf receding. And I am sorry if that's a disturbing, like, mental image, but I can't think of anything else to call it. Clockwise with the swipe. Yeah, I used to think those spikes were undodgeable. They're not. You can dodge them. It's just very tense. And the Tarahumara, I didn't even mention this, but the Tarahumara are the people who are known for running exceptional distances, sometimes entire marathons at a time, without the use of, or even, oh, time? I didn't know we were that close. That was time. I thought we still had one more cycle. Without the use of modern equipment. And it makes me wonder if, during this last fight, if it's a conscious choice by the developers that you're basically safe as long as you always keep moving. As long as you always keep running. And here, now that we have defeated the great evil, we have this vast, distant, godlike figure who appears to us and says, "Good job, Mulaka, you destroyed the evil, but you know what? In this world, evil will always rise up again. People will always be awful to one another, you know. Fear and doubt and jealousy and all those awful things will always rule this world, so we, the gods, will destroy this world and create a new one. And because of the courage and bravery you've shown in your journey, Mulaka, we invite your people." You could read that as being the Tarahumara or humanity as a whole. We invite your people into this new world we are creating. So, like I said, kind of spoiler alert from the beginning of the run, but it is the Tarahumara creation myth. And there's these cutscenes with the narrator speaking the Tarahumara language throughout. Most of them are skippable. That one that just played there is actually not skippable at all. It wasn't stylistic that I let it play. And we have Mulaka entering this great unknown beyond. And we could stick with it for just one more quick second. Yep. The I guess you would call this slightly interactive credit sequence where you are the ivory-billed woodpecker and you fly through the credits.
GG's on your run.
Thank you so much. I think that's about all I got for you.
Any final words? Any final shoutouts you want to give? Where can people find you if they want to see more of your content?
Sure. I have a tough time doing personal streams in this day and age. Work just drains all of my life energy when I get home. But if I ever do, it's just Twitch.tv Emeraldaly. I am also doing my own marathon next month called Fleet Fest. It's you can find it on OwnGist. I've got submissions open right now. It's not a big marathon. It's just me running it, but it's a small little thing. We have a good time. We raise some money for local groups in my area. The one we've done the most often has been the local food bank, and we've raised a couple $1,000s over the 4 previous times I've run it, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next month if anyone's interested in more speedrun marathons.
That's absolutely awesome. Do make sure to check them out, and thank you for being here. Thank you for the run.
Thank you so much.
With that being said, we are heading back into intermission and prepping for the next round, which will be Spark the Electric Jester 3 by none other than Shovelclaws. Stay tuned, you lovelies. Stay hydrated. Do take good care of yourselves. Use the break to, go to the toilet, stretch your arms, legs, whatever you need to stretch. Stay hydrated. That's very important. And most importantly, self-care. In any way, shape, or form that helps you feel better. Okay? Talk to you in a bit.